This is about the British Council in Sri Lanka. I think the British Council has branches in Jaffna, Kandy, and Hambantota as well, which was one of my proposals earlier. However, in Sri Lankan context, the British Council's resources, the physical, the classrooms, and the space, and also the teaching availability of the teachers are highly insufficient, because often I think children are rejected entry into the British Council courses. So most of the parents have to wait in a waiting list in British councils to get the required training, even though they say to put your name on a waiting list. They never call you back or inform you even by email about it, just to give preferential treatment to some, because they get a waiting list, but they cross-check the waiting list with some other authority and give preferential treatment to the children they like. And that is how the British Council offer their courses. And I think in this Sri Lankan context, British Council in Sri Lanka has even now a lot of reputation among the parents. They depend on the British Council for very specific courses like IELTS and English courses. So I think now the current British Council has branches in Colombo, Kandy, Jaffna, and Hambantota. But I think that this investment is not sufficient to serve Sri Lanka. So instead, the British Council, I think the British government must consider upgrading it in Sri Lankan context for our country as the British Council University, and then establish it as a major, a university in Sri Lanka to offer the British courses to us in Sri Lanka. So it can be expanded, because the current British Council office in Alfred Garden House, Colombo 3 is not sufficient. The location, the classrooms are small, and it cannot be expanded further, and the car parks are not there. You cannot park the car when you are coming to the British Council building. It's really congested in that location, the current British Council in Colombo in Alfred House Gardens. And also the security, and those people are very rude to children who are coming, and they don't talk kindly to the children. And sometimes selection of the security on an ethnic preference harms the communal harmony in Sri Lanka as well. So I think in any case, what matters is that there is so much demand for British Council courses in Sri Lanka. Especially they do the all information about edX. Even though after my suggestion, the edXL International in UK has started a edXL country office in Sri Lanka at the World Trade Center Colombo 1. Still, for the other courses like University of Cambridge and IB exams and various other courses, the current the British Council location at Colombo 3 at Colombo 4 at Alfred House Gardens is highly insufficient. It's a very like a colonial building, but I think this location can be like an administrative office for admissions. Admission purposes, it's good because it's located in the heart of Colombo. But for the teaching purposes, this is not sufficient. It's outdated because it's equipment. The classrooms are not sufficient. There is no space there, so it must be accommodated in like suburban areas of Colombo, probably like somewhere like Malabe, so that with the new expressway, I think everyone can access it, like somewhere close to the Sri Lanka Institute of Information Technology in Malabe, where there are already students coming there through the highways. I think there are a lot of space land to establish a big university to provide the British education through the government of Great Britain to Sri Lankan students, because currently the demand is so much, and nobody hears. Even though they get a waiting list for the courses, no one hears from them after you write your contact details and go. the British Council never call you back and to say, okay, you are allocated a class, like a seat in this session, please come. They never do that even. So this is not really the hope of the Sri Lankan population. The parents especially want a better service and a better expanded British Council, which I think rather than having councils, it's better in Sri Lankan context only to consider the requirements of our country. Since I'm making a request here, to upgrade it as a British, Council University of Sri Lanka as a standard benchmark model for everybody around the world, so that it can provide all drama, theatre, English literature, English language courses, IELT, especially because when it comes to English literature, there's a huge dearth of teachers in English literature, whether it's American poetry or British poetry and prose and cons. There are a lot of demand, and most of the teachers are unable to teach English literature, and the children don't understand whatever they teach. So, we need to have a British Council University of Sri Lanka to fill these gaps, especially the English language teaching. We have teachers, but English literature, it's very rare, because no teacher understands any meaning of the poetry. They give it their own interpretation, rather than they don't spend time research on the internet to get the real meaning of those literary work and then explain it to students. So I think this way Sri Lankan students are deprived of a good education in English literature. So all these courses like Shakespeare, drama, and everything, I think we need a more comprehensive British Council University of Sri Lanka, to accommodate all the students. And since there is a good demand, there's a very high demand, I'm sure that it would be a very profitable venture, not only for Sri Lanka, for the South Asia region as well.